Hello guys, this is Gunnar, and today I wanted to bring you the Blackwing list that you guys requested, that I used in my combo videos. So a lot of you guys have been asking what's the deck list, so I figured I'll show them to you. Obviously Shizu format is right around the corner, so there will be changes that have to be made to account for those cards, but for now this list is built for current format, which is just right before Shizu. I will go over the changes I would make for sure once Shizu comes out, and once they are out, we can see what other cards are able to be played here. But for now, let's jump into the current list. Before that, however, 88% of you guys are not subscribed, so if you like the content, please click that button, it will help me out a lot. Alright, so let's get to the main deck, and we'll start off with Simoon. From the last support wave, Simone is just still an incredible starter. He does lock you into darks, but most of your extra deck is dark except for one card, so it is fine. But you saw in the other video what lines you can make if you're not dark locked, so sometimes the dark lock annoys me, but it's still way too good not to be played, especially since this deck, how it is built right now, is tries to always start with something like Simoon and Sudri, which is here. So these are your one card starters that you want to focus on, and there's no way you can even consider playing anything without him, just to get rid of the Dark Lock because he's just so good. Then another one of the new Blackwings. You will see we just max out on most of the new cards because the new cards, obviously, they're newer, they are stronger. So we want to abuse them as much as we can, and Vata is one of them. It's just a synchro summon foolish effect. It's just crazy what this card enables. It gets you the Blackwing Dragon. It's a special summon from hand. It's a tuner. There's no way you don't play this at 3. So next up, we play 3 of the new Shamal. I know this is one of the weirder ones because you don't really want to draw him in multiples. He has to be normal summoned and so on, but just the fact that you draw this card is so good, because if you draw this plus any of your other starters, your combo is better than it would be with just one card. If you draw this with a Whirlwind, it's still full combo, and so I just maxed them out, even though like if you draw multiple, sometimes it's weird, but some people are saying like brick hands include multiple of this guy, or like just one of this guy and nothing to start with, which is fair, but still, the advantage you get from this card is just too good because you get the Black Feather Whirlwind and you get the add back from grave. It's just a 3 pluses. And then the last new Blackwing monster is Chinook. It's just there for utility because you can send it, you always have it accessible. You can send it, you can search it. There's no reason to play multiple off because yeah, it doesn't really help you going second, and you always have it accessible. However, what's nice is even if you don't have a synchro, you can still just throw. If you go second, you can use it from hand to target something to negate it or beta negate. So it's not quite useless going second, but still I would not play it at 3. I would rather prefer non-engine stuff in that slot. And then for the old Blackwings, we have 1 Zephyrus necessary for the combo, 1 Gale, just a free extender, level 3 that you can use. Then we have 1 Harmattan. It's also one of the worst cards. It's just a special summon from hand, but the level is adaptable. So, and it kind of works well with the Shamal because 4+2 gets you into 6s, or 4+6 goes into 10s, which would be just full armor must in this case. So just because of the flexibility, I like this as one of the extenders. And then the last extender is Orochi. Because of the level 1, you can make Hot Red Abyss with Orochi and the Blackwing Dragon. You can, if you want to fit 3 more space, cut one of these, but I would not recommend cutting Orochi, so it would have to be one of these 2. And then for the last old Blackwing is Vayu. This is instead of the Zonda package that I used in the first video, because Zonda package takes both Zonda and Kunai, and even though it's more flexible, I just like having the 1 card instead of 2, because this deck's already like, I'm still trying to increase the consistency of the deck, because you have enough starters, but sometimes your hands just do nothing, and having 2 more bricks would not help with that. I will address the consistency as you go through the deck. Speaking of consistency, by the way, is Black Whirlwind obviously at 3 just gets you to everything in our deck. Needs to be in the deck for Simoon anyway. So, yeah. And then we play 2 Black Feather Whirlwind. A lot of lists play this at 1, which is also something I did in the beginning. But I just figured it is not like it is just soft ones per turn. So if you have 2 of these, you can just trigger both. And also, if you draw this with like if you just draw this card, even like if you have Shamal or if you want to search him, you still want Shamal engraved, so you need something to get him out, and it's not bad to draw anyway, right? So you can just run 2 to get the Shamal live more often without much drawbacks. Again, if you want to free up more text space, this would be also a possibility, but right now I like this at 2 just for the consistency part of Shamal. And then we run for the last Blackwing cards 2 Twin Shadow. And I run 2 because you want to search 1 in your combo, right, to set it to pop 2, and then you want to have the second one as an extender when you go second, because when you go second, you usually have recycled your Sudri, so you can go normal summon Sudri, add the other trap, special another Blackwing through any means, and then you can just use this from hand to get another synchro and then go off from there. So also, sometimes going first, you can also just use it. You have like, if you already drew one and you know you can use another search on this, you can just use the first one to get another extender on field, like a Boreas Storm. So 2, in my opinion, very good number, because it's not really a trap card. It's kind of like a quick spell. If you have 2 Blackwings, you can just like slam this down, special summon. So not much of a drawback to it. Then we have the 1 called by. This could be anything. Just called by is good, because your combos are often like 1 card combos. So having something to negate hand traps can be nice. Although most of the popular hand traps right now are something like Impermanent you can't call by, and Bestials, which you also can't call by. So this could also be a consideration for a cut. And then we have, for the consistency of the deck, we have 3 small world. You are really, really dependent on somehow getting to Sudri or Vata or Simoon. So we run small world. I will talk about the bridges in a sec. Just a quick note, if you have prosperities, I do believe prosperity is the better choice here, because while small world always gets you the good cards, it is a -1. And while that is okay going first, going second, the small world just you really see the weakness of small world, because you already lose 1 card just for the small world, and your opponent still has all their interactions. And whereas with prosperity, say you already have, there's also a weakness. If you already have combo and you have the small world, whether you really like search with it, obviously there are options like hand traps, but if you go second and you have prosperity, prosperity can get you to your board breakers, to lava golem, whatever. Lava golem, not in this deck. So going second, prosperity is the way better card, and going first, it's also just much less committal than just small world. So if you have prosperity, run this. If you don't want to spend money on either prosperity or small world, I don't know what the price on these cards are right now, you can consider playing Allure. You can even say, okay, the deck is not consistent enough for me, and you can say you play 3 small world and 2 Allure to have even more consistency. That is an option. So if you break too much with this deck, which sometimes I still do, sometimes I think about, okay, maybe I do want to increase the consistency more. So Allure is an option. Let's just leave 1 small out here on field, because for our bridges we have the Radiant, multi-dimensional Kaiju. This is a nice bridge because it's still a good going second card. It's Kaiju, you just drop it on something. The level is 7, so it does not conflict with any of your Blackwings. It is Dark, Fiend, and the stats are 2800, 2500. So the only thing this has in common with any of your Blackwings is the Dark attribute, which is really nice. And then additionally for our bridges, and also segue into our hand traps, is your good friends, the Bestials. So for the bridges, let's just say Sudri. Now, for the Bestials, one of the issues, they are level 6 as a small world bridge, but they're just like, you want to play them anyway, they're so good. So let's talk about the bridge. So we can go Radiant into any Bestial, banish them, and get to Sudri. Or you can go any Bestial, go into Radiant, go into either Sudri or this. So that's why the bridges with the Bestials are very good, because you want to play them anyway. They are very, very strong hand traps. Once we go into Ishizu format, I would probably even up the number of Bestials. So right now, for the hand traps that I play, is for the rest is Effect Veilers and Impermanences, just because they're good against tier element, hitting Kit Kalos. Now, once we get into Ishizu format, I actually would consider bumping up the Druid Worm to 2, and then you can even consider playing the Saronir, just to have even more Bestials, because they're so good against T element. Even consider running one Lubellion just for the grind game. It's also a reason. You can then, if you run the Bestials, also include a rank 6, which is Wallow. You can make this with Nothung plus a Bestial, for example, and what this card does is you can detach one material as a quick effect to shuffle one card of your opponent's graveyard into their deck, or you can detach 2 and then set the card. So you can either deny 2 tier limit effects or grab any good card they have in the grave, set it to your side of the field. Really, really strong form of interaction. Definitely a possibility here. Now, if you don't want to buy the Bestials, and you want to go for, you can run something like obviously Bob Breaker's Dark Ruler. However, Dark Ruler is not a small world target, so you would decrease the consistency on that. Another thing you can do is play Ghost Girls, because as a small world target, you can easily make them work by just cutting the Kaiju. So you cut the Kaiju for a Phantasme. Phantasme is level 7 Dark, and the important part is 1800 defense. So this has nothing in common with the Ghost Girls except for the 1800 defense. So you can always go through a hand trap into Phantasme into a Blackwing. So that's something to consider. Now, if you have the Phantasme, obviously you have to find another bridge. That's it for the main deck, plus a bit of a ramble about Small World. Now, for the extra deck, we have obviously the Blackwing Dragon. You have to play this. Then I play 2 Assault Dragons, because in your combos you can often do 2 of them. And then we play 1 Full Armor Master. Now, not because we want to end on this, but because this A is not a Blackwing, so you cannot make this with Twin Shadow, and also this needs a Tune or Synchro Monster, while this is just generic. So just sometimes you have the materials to make this. So, and it's not a bad monster. I would not recommend forcing it or trying to end on it, although sometimes the element can have trouble dealing with this without the field spell. But like the main application of this is often either you get hand trapped and you still have the material to make him, or if you have the Twin Shadow set and they like Cosmic Cyclone it and you're forced to activate it, then let's just go to the next card before we explain, because that's Silverwind, which is your main target for the Twin Shadow. So if this is summoned, you pop 2 cards, but this card is a when effect. So this card can miss timing. That means if the opponent Cosmic Cyclones this and you chain this, special summon the Silverwind, you are not able to pop 2 cards. So oftentimes your opponent forces this with like Feather Duster, Cosmic, Tillamook Heartbeats. You just chain it and you make the Full Armor Master, which is the next best target you can do on your opponent's turn, because the other ones don't have a summon effect. And you still trigger your Shamal in the Grave and your Black Feather Wovens, and then you also have a Towers, which is sometimes hard to out. And then you have to just know the matchup. In some matchups they just don't have an out in general. For the level 6s, we have obviously the 1 Boreas Storm and the 1 Mathang. These are necessary for the combo. And then we have for the level 7s, Raikiri and Hawkjaw. Raikiri is just for the follow-up to pop their cards and then go for the LDK, whereas Hawkjaw is to recycle resources from the grave and also is you can use him as a follow-up after they Nibiru you, because you can search Gale and then you special Gale plus the Zephyros you set up in the grave to go into Hawkjaw and then extend from there. Then we have one Sohaya, just for the value. And for your end board, we have the Dereka Berserk of Titania. This is just the best Dark level 8 synchro, besides Savage Dragon, which we cannot make in this build because we don't link summon that much. We have the Hot Rat here. He just negates any card, and you can just make this off of Orochi and Blackwing Dragon. And then we have the Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon for non-Simoon combos, which is like a very powerful monster negate, which most versions of this deck lack, although Nibiru is not really played right now, so for that part it's not that important, but I think it's just a good piece to end on. And then for the link monsters, I just have these. Appaloosa is just there for if you have to go into Y-Strix. So the role of Y-Strix is if they hand trap you and you somehow are stranded without a tuner, you can turn 2 of your Blackwings into Y-Strix to get out Shamal from your deck, which will provide you with a level 4 tuner. And then sometimes you are able to make plays from there. And then with the Y-Strix that is left on field plus anything else, you can just go into Appaloosa. Definitely a cuttable package. I'm not very sold on the Appaloosa, for example. I would love to play Masquerena and Unicorn instead, because that's way easier, but you cannot make Masquerena with the Y-Strix anyway, so you'll be left with the same problem. So, and also if you're drug locked, you cannot make Appaloosa anyway. So, but I don't know what to cut. It might be the Hawkjaw because nobody's playing Nibiru, so you just go cut these two for Masquerena and Unicorn and the Y-Strix, or just Masquerena plus Appaloosa, and you make the Appaloosa and the opponent's turn if you're locked. Alright, that's it for the extra deck. Lastly, I just wanted to say there are 2 other cards I wanted to experiment with, but I haven't found a combo that I like with them, and that is these 2 cards. So Muddy Muddragon is a level 6 synchro that can substitute for any fusion material and has an effect that says you can fuse monsters from your field, and you can by using this as a material. So for Dragoon, that means you can substitute this for a Dark Magician, and then you just need any any dragon effect monster. So what's cool is you get the Blackwing Dragon for free anyway. So next to the Blackwing Dragon, you just have to make any level 6, and then you can go Muddy Mud Dragon and Blackwing Dragon into Dragoon. And the nice thing is each of these pieces is a dark, so it's pretty easy to go into this under the dark lock of Simoon or Vata. The only thing you cannot do is go into Dragoon if you are under the synchro lock of Sutri. So that's it for the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what ratios you are running, and let me know what other content you want to see on this channel. So until next time.